Thank you for watching. On today's show we have Dawn Wright, Pam Baranello, and Debra Herring. It's going to be a great show. Make sure you tune in. Today we have Miss Dawn Wright here with us on MCC Today. Welcome, Dawn. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Lowell. Thanks for having me.
Now, I've known you for quite a while. You said you just reminded me that you've been here 11 years now, and you teach psychology and human growth and development.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you enjoy teaching here?
I absolutely love teaching here. I love interacting with the students, my work family, and you down through the years. It's just been absolutely amazing. I didn't realize how much of a gift teaching was for me. I started out in mental health. I worked over 15 years in mental health. So from that, I have a lot of experiences to share with my students from the field. So this transition to teaching has been, again, an amazing experience.
Well, the classes that you teach, both psychology and human growth and development, we have students who go into those fields, but we also have students who use those classes as their electives. You know, for when they're university transfer, they're going to other places, to other universities. And I believe some of our programs actually ask that students take psychology and or human growth and development, you know, as prerequisites to get into their programs. Why do you think it's important for students to take either psychology or human growth and development?
Okay, I think it's vitally important for our students to take psychology and human growth and development for so many reasons. A lot of times students come into the psychology class and they just want to go straight to the chapters about abnormal psychology. But psychology is so much more than abnormal psychology. Sure.
Well, just, you know, I did that, of course, when I took psychology, because I would read,
I can see that.
And I immediately kept thinking, every time there was some disorder, I thought I had it. I was
wow.
You know, I'm bipolar, I'm schizophrenic, you know, and people would have to say, no, you're not.
Right.
You're just reading that. Do you have students that do that?
I have students who do that all the time, and I have students who try to diagnose, you know, their own families.
Okay.
But I let them know immediately, you know, I've been a psychotherapist before. I've worked in inpatient and outpatient psychiatric care, but in this setting as an instructor, I can't even do that. So no, we're not going to diagnose ourselves, and we're not going to diagnose our classmates and family. But I immediately share with them on that first day of class the history, the rich history of psychology, mental health care, even here in our very own state, with our first hospital, mental health hospital being Whitfield, erected in 1855.
Wow.
And we have, you know, from that, they had so many patients, such an overflow. We have our very own East Mississippi State Hospital, which was erected in the late 1800s. I also share with them the diversity in psychology with our, you know, our theorists, their backgrounds. I talk about the first African-American female to ever receive a PhD in psychology, and she has ties to Mississippi. She is a girl of the South. Inez Beverly Prosser received a PhD in psychology in 1933. I talk about Francis Cecil Sumner, who is a graduate of Howard University, and he also studied with the founder of educational psychology, G. Stanley Hall. So here we have our first African-American male to receive a PhD in 1920. And of course, the people everybody want to hear, Sigmund Freud, Ivan Pavlov, and, you know, all of those wonderful, great theorists that allow us to put into practice their theories even still today.
Well, what is, and this might be a simplistic question, but okay, what do you typically do and cover in psychology, and what do you typically do and cover in human growth and development?
Well, psychology, is, that Greek word,
Sure.
psych and O-L-O-G, the ending on that. We know that we're going to study something. So I give them that information. I tell them it is the individual study of the mind and mental processes, our behaviors, those things that we can and cannot see. But with human growth and development, it is a part of psychology. It's an educational psychology class. So
Okay.
human growth and development, you can cover so much rich information. It's about our lifespan development from the womb to the tomb. So
Okay.
from conception to death, and even understanding that life begins at conception. How do we deal with our different milestones? How do we deal with our cognitive development? How do we deal with nutrition as far as it affects, our development, our physical development, our moral development, which is very important
Yes.
in this day and time. So we talk a lot about Lawrence Kohlberg, your stages of moral development, and I think about myself, and sometimes I use myself as an example in the classroom. For example, when I first started working at MCC, I was that instructor who locked the door, and you had to follow the rules, and there was no gray area. So
This is when class starts. You better be here.
you better be here, and I'm
Sure.
locking the door. So I made a transition in my moral development and my understanding that we do have to follow the rules, but there are some gray areas. So I was teaching and I had locked the door after I called the roll. There was a student outside of my classroom, and something in my heart told me that I should not leave her out there. We made eye contact, and it was just something saying that was just not the thing to do. So I looked at the student, I looked at my class, I looked at the student, and I had no other choice. My hand was unlocking that door, and I asked her to come on in, and she took her seat, which was at the front of the classroom. Very nice young lady. Later, I found out that student was homeless. And so had that been my first year here, maybe that would not have been, something that I would have done. But being that seasoned teacher and knowing that that was the right decision to make, the moral development, that transition came into play.
Well, I think both psychology and human growth and development are two classes that are very important, and of course, they're part of programs, and you can use them to transfer to other universities. However, they're also important in understanding things, and sometimes it really does help to understand things. Well, Dawn, I want to thank you for being with us today, and I want you to come back, because I think we could have a very long discussion on some of the topics that you brought up.
Yes,
Will
that would
you
be
come back and
great.
see us?
I sure will.
We'll be right back.
All right, so you're looking to make a career decision that's crazy smart and won't break the bank. Then let's start with tuition guarantee and a home field advantage. That's Meridian Community College, and we're changing the game. We've got heavy metal drilling and saving lives. Or how about building a rover that could drive on Mars? We're more than grades in a classroom. We're your Red Bull monster shot of knowledge that will help you own that next job. This is not just the 13th year, it's the gateway to your entire career. Are you ready for more? Well, the eagle has landed. Find your wings.
And we are back, and we have Miss Pam Baranello. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm doing very well. Now, Pam, you are our Military Veterans Services Coordinator.
Yes, that's
here
right.
from Meridian Community College. And what does your job entail?
We service all veterans, active duty from NAS Meridian, Air Guard from Key Field here in Key Field Meridian. We service Army Guard.
Okay.
And we service our veterans, both.
And when you say we service, what kind of things do we do for them? Or what kind of things do you do for them?
Well, I get them to help them with their benefits,
Okay.
if they need help, how to apply for the benefits, and then when they're eligible, they tell me that they want to use their benefits, so I get in contact with the VA and process their hours and everything, and so they can receive their money.
Okay. Well, now, so many of our service people are eligible for education benefits because of their service, right?
Correct.
And
yes.
so when all they have to do, or what they need to do is, if they decide to use those benefits, is to contact you and get the process starting, and you basically help facilitate all of that. You know, this is what you need to do. This is the paperwork you need to turn in.
That's correct.
Okay.
And if they want to learn more, a great resource is va.gov, and you can learn all about every chapter and how it fits to your eligibility. And you can also contact the VA through that va.gov.
Okay. And now, typically speaking, if a service person decides to use their benefits and says, "Okay, I want to do this," what period of time, what length of time? Like if they say, how long would it take for those benefits to begin?
Usually, if they fill out their application on the VA website, it takes approximately 30 days to hear from the VA. And that doesn't stop them from applying to the college. So if they're still in class and everything, and then a month later they receive their certificate eligibility, I can just backdate it to the day that they started class. Okay. So there's really no time limit or anything for that. It's just that they're going to be back paid. So they're going to have to initially start maybe buying their own books, and then just depending on the chapters, and they'll get reimbursed for that.
Okay, so we could have someone who wants to begin classes in a couple of weeks, and if that is the case, then they could begin, but they might have to put out some money on their own, but hopefully they would be reimbursed for that money.
Correct.
And you help take care of that.
Yeah, active duty members, they'll use tuition assistance most of the time. Our Guard members uses the Montgomery GI Bill most of the time, and Air Guard has what they call SEEP, it's state assistance. And the Army Guard also has their FTA, which is federal tuition assistance that they can use.
Now, is this assistance, they can use that to go into certain programs and certainly if they want to, and but they could also use it to go on to university if they want to as well.
That's correct.
Is it limited to just a bachelor's degree?
No, but it all depends on the chapter. Okay. And I know for active duty and some Guard, depending on their eligibility, they can use it up to master's or doctorate, but it all depends on a lot of circumstances.
Okay. But there's a possibility that if a service person wants to use it, they could go to master's degree or doctorate.
Sure.
If they want.
Some veterans that do are eligible for their Chapter 33, which is the post 9/11 benefits. They'll hold on to them and use the FAFSA, the federal aid first, and wait until they transfer to a four-year college, because of course the four-year college is going to be way more money, spending money,
Sure. But we also, they could use that to finish out a nursing program or a CAD program, or so any of these things to get out there and make some decent money.
Yeah, they also can use it, and VA has on their website, they can use it for specific training, not necessarily a 2-year degree,
So
and
like
other
certificates
things.
and things like that. They could use it for.
Oh yeah, certificates, but this is specific training out of different types of schools that they can use it for too.
Okay, excellent. And what has been your biggest surprise working in this job? Have you had any surprises?
Surprise?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
No,
because you get to work with some of the these veterans who've seen a lot, and
Well, yeah, that's I guess one surprise. A lot of them have been sent to Iraq and and Kuwait and all over the world, and they come back and I guess they turn they kind of grew up, and they said, well, I'm gonna get an education and use my benefits now. So, and I think that's a great thing.
I'm so glad we're able to offer that and we're able to help them with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
Now, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2016, 4 years.
4 years.
And I'm just about now learning exactly what I need to do because, you know, just like taxes, the VA, the government changes all the time.
Well, plus I think every individual is different.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so it's
Dependent on their needs.
there's no set standard really. You just got these basic rules and things that you have to look at and say, okay, does this apply? Does this apply? Does this apply? So that must keep you on your feet all the time.
Oh, it does. It does.
Keep you on your toes. I didn't mean on your.
Yeah.
But I would imagine now before you were working here, because you've been at the college for a while now, right?
Yes,
'Cause I've known
10
you for,
years.
I've known you for almost at a million years, but no.
It was 10 years, July 1st, I think it was.
Okay,
So.
okay. And you've just been progressing and going, you know, full. But you said you had some history of the.
Yes, I do.
The program.
Yes, with World War I finishing up, a lot of the veterans came home. And of course, just like the Vietnam War and the Iraqi War, it was really hard for them to get back to civilian life. So the Congress decided in 1924 to pass a bill called the Bonus Act of 1924, which promised to pay the veterans towards their service, amount of days of service they accumulated. But by 1932, it didn't get, nothing happened, and we were in the midst of the Depression and everything, so about 20,000, a group of 20,000 veterans decided to protest, and they called them the bonus marches because they were protesting saying that, hey, you said we were supposed to get this money and we never did. And of course, you know, with the Depression, the veterans had it, you know, worse than a lot of other people. So, so time passed and everything, and it wouldn't get paid until 1945 when President Franklin Roosevelt started the GI Bill for veterans.
Now this is this is the end of World War
II.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So they waited that long.
They waited that long, and you know, they hummed and hawed. Okay, who gets it? Who's not going to get it? And this and that. So by the time that rolled around, they said, okay, every veteran's going to get something.
Okay.
So, and then this relates to Mississippi. So in 1984, Mississippi Representative G.V. Sonny Montgomery proposed legislation to make the GI Bill permanent because they were going to do away with it. So it's permanent, which still is in action today. And that's what, they are using the GI Bill, but in 2008, it was changed to a Chapter 33 post 9/11. So anybody after post 9/11, I mean after 9/11, had educational assistance and different, you know, they upped some of the benefits.
You know, I'm so glad that we offer these benefits because, you know, most of the time you could not ask for more dedicated students in the classroom. They're a good group of people.
Oh, yeah.
So, listen, I'm so glad that you came by to talk to us today because I know how nervous you are because we talk about this beforehand. But I want to have you on again and let's talk about this further. But thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be right back.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
And we have Miss Debra Herring here. I'm so happy that you're here today, that they let you out of your little cubby hole.
Occasionally, occasionally.
Now you are the Radiologic Technology Program Coordinator and Instructor, and you've been doing this a while.
Since 2005.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. We've both been here 1.5 million years, but we look good.
Well, The hair color has changed over the years.
Listen, if mine would come back, I'd let it be any color that it wants to be. Now, typically speaking, how many students do you let into the program each year?
We take currently 15. We just admitted our new class, so
Okay.
they're real excited. They're going to start in the fall.
Now, you only take people in the fall. Do you do spring as well, or just the fall?
We take just in the fall.
Okay.
If they need the summer courses are not RadTech program courses. They have English Comp, Medical Vocabulary, and A&P 2. If they don't have those out of the way, then that's what they'll take in the summer.
I was going to ask what prereqs they need to get in your program.
Prerequisites, they'll need A&P 1 in college algebra.
Okay.
They have to be completed before they apply.
Okay.
And then afterwards they would take, if they haven't had Comp 1. Most of our students, by the time they apply, general education courses are typically out of the way. Maybe 1 or 2 are left because they have to have A&P 1
Right.
and
College
algebra. And
Okay.
typically people don't do those in the same semester, so they've got a year at least before they get in, and that takes care of our 15 hours of gen ed courses. And
Okay.
so then apply the x-ray program, and x-ray by itself is full-time.
Okay, so you are a 2-year program.
We are.
Okay, and so once they complete your program, what jobs are they open for? What jobs are available for your graduates?
An entry-level position in a hospital or a clinic
Okay.
as a radiographer.
Okay.
Now, once they do that, they are eligible then to continue their education into ultrasound or sonography. They can do on-the-job training, study for their exam in computed radiography. They
Okay.
can apply to programs and do magnetic resonance imaging,
Okay.
nuclear medicine.
I had a student before who went from y'all to nuclear medicine. Okay.
So there are options out there. Is an additional registry, and again, an additional registry means additional pay.
Okay. So, but once they finish, they're good for an opening entry-level position, and then typically speaking, how long do they have to be in that entry-level position before they can continue their education? Do they have to have so they can get in and then immediately begin into one of these other areas if they choose to?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Now, are they able to go into the entry level anywhere in the states?
Anywhere. It is a national registry.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
each state has its own health department, and the health department regulates their state licensing, so they have to check with each state as to what their requirements are. As for the state of Mississippi, all the state of Mississippi requires is that you provide them documentation that you have your national registry. You pay the state a fee, and there's no additional testing.
Okay.
Other states require that you sit for additional state exam.
Okay.
So, in addition to a fee.
Is the job market pretty good?
We're one of the job markets that anticipates growth. So
Okay.
we're one of those that's growing, of course, with the baby boomers growing. The job market is stable and growing. It's not anticipated to decline.
Okay.
Now, depending on the amount of pay you wish to receive,
Yes.
you may want
Which is
to.
not important at all.
you may wish to relocate,
Okay.
because as we know, Mississippi is a wonderful place to live, but the cost of living is not as expensive as other places.
Sure.
Therefore, the pay is not as high as other places. So it goes hand in hand.
What a great answer that was. Now, what brought you to this program? I mean, why were you drawn to going into radiologic technology, if you don't mind me asking?
I am a graduate
Okay.
of MCC back in 1986.
Okay.
I graduated from the RadTech
I
program.
graduated before you.
Under Darlene Withers and Susan Smith, all those
Okay.
many, many moons ago.
Okay.
Love X-ray. Love X-ray, and did it for eons. Suffered a midlife crisis.
Okay.
Decided I would go back to school to teach, and got my teaching license. Decided that was not quite the fit that I needed in the public school system, and was working part-time at one of our local hospitals and was working weekends with the program coordinator here, Shazawee Edgerton. And there was an opening here, and she encouraged me to come work with her and Terry Crawford, who was clinical coordinator at the time. And so that got me here.
You know, I'm always fascinated because, you know, sometimes people think, well, I'm just going to go into this and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. But so often you go into it like the program, you got your degree here, and it opened so many doors, and even doors that you didn't know at the time were there.
Yeah, because of X-ray, I was able to work nights and go to school full time, even with a family at the time, because X-ray is flexible that way. I could work nights. I worked 2 or 3 jobs while I was going to school at Mississippi State to get my education degree. And then while I was here, because I had my bachelor's degree in education, but to hold the current position I have requires a master's. So while I was here working full time, I was able to go back to school at Mississippi State Meridian Branch and get my master's degree in order to keep this job. So X-ray is wonderful all the way around. It's flexible, as is Meridian Community College, to allow me to do that. And Mississippi State Meridian Branch right across the street is so convenient.
If you have a midlife crisis.
Yes, yes.
Or just in general.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's just a great place.
And X-ray, I mean, it's flexible, and it does meet the needs of a family, and it does provide an adequate income, and it's awesome.
Excellent, excellent.
Awesome.
Well, listen, if a student is interested in your program, how do they get in touch with, who do they get in touch with, and how do they get in touch with them?
Our program advisor is Anna Hall.
Okay.
Her email is ahall4, the digit 4, at meridiancc.edu, or my email is dherring, Herring, at meridiancc.edu. Program website, meridiancc.edu/RadTech, RadTech.
A lot of good information and a really good program, and just a great person teaching it.
Thank you.
I have such a great time with you. I want you on the show again. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
I know that those students are going to get some valuable insight and be able to go out and just do wonderful things.
And take your life skills study course as well.
I
Helps
appreciate
them
that.
tremendously.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Become essential at Meridian Community College. Our community is changing, and at MCC, we are built for those who want to serve. Being essential has kept our community going. You can become that here, all at an affordable cost. Whether you dream of helping people through healthcare services or want to transport goods, connecting people with the products they need, we have many unique opportunities to help you find your purpose. Don't wait for change. Be the difference and register today. Become essential at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of our executive producer, Matt Milner, our production assistant, Inga Bask, and me, thank you so much for watching MCC Today. I hope you learned a lot.